In today's chess video, we look at a super amazing game played by the magician Mikhail Tal against Bukute Gurganidze. So Bukute stacks with d4, then knight f6, c4, and Tal goes for one of his favorite openings, the Benoni defense. Bukute decides not to accept this gambit and he simply pushes forward. Tal offers an exchange, White defends, and eventually they trade the pawns. After this, Tal plays d6, defending c5 and also opening up this diagonal for the bishop. Now this might seem an awkward position for black, especially because of this central pawn, but I'll actually like playing this variation because he could use his creativity and come up with interesting tactical ideas to surprise his opponents. Anyway, White develops his knight and black pinch goes his bishop. Now bishop e2 and both sides castle on the king side. Tal plays rook e8, attacking the e4 pawn. Bukute adds another defender, and then comes knight a6. Now Tal's idea is to go knight c7 and push this pawn forward for attack along the queen side. White plays rook e1, positioning it on a semi-open 5. Then knight c7 as expected, and White pushes a4, preventing this b5 push. Thus there is no problem, I'll just go b6, and his plan is to do a6, b5, and then exchange the pawns. Look, he comes straight away play a6 and b5 because after a6, White can push a5 and stop this pawn completely. Therefore, first you play the b6. Now here, White plays queen c2, focusing his attention on the center. Many of you might think that Tal just goes sack, attack, and simply destroys his opponent. But it's not that easy. There's a method to his madness. Look, his initial idea was to attack on the queen side, but after this queen c2 move, he realized that the king side looks weak for White and also this rook is undefended. You need to be flexible, and therefore he shifted his focus on the king side and played knight g4. Now if the queen was here, White could have simply taken the knight. But now he has a decision to make. Does he want to give away his bishop there for the knight? Well, if I was playing at his style, I would just exchange all the pieces because we all know he's going to sacrifice everything and make you. So why give him a chance? Just exchange the pieces and get into the endgame. But remember, this is 1957, and till now, no one knows how dangerous Tal can be. So Bukute says, I know you're planning to getting your queen or at both these pawns. So before your queen jumps in, I'll play h3, and you have to push back your knight. So he played h3, but he was shocked after seeing Mikhail Tal's response. Tal didn't go back. Instead, he did what he does best, an insane knight sacrifice. Knight takes on f2. You should not take when Tal sacrifices, but White couldn't resist and he takes the knight. Queen h4 check from Tal. And as I showed you earlier, this queen moved to c2, leaving the rook undefended, and therefore the White king is now forced to go back to f1 to defend the rook. In this position, blocking with g3 doesn't work because black can go all out and finish up the White king in just a few moves. Therefore, king f1 is torched, and then comes bishop of d4 with the obvious threat of mate on f2. Having all these pieces, it might seem that White should easily be able to defend this, but in reality, there's only one move which saves him, and that is knight d1. It's just so awkward making all these pieces cramped up like this, but that's how it is. Now, if you think you've seen it all, fasten your seatbelts because Tal has another brilliant move. Queen takes on h3. This might seem like a queen sacrifice, but if he takes, then bishop h3 is a stunning Boden's made. Both these bishops are beautifully cutting off these diagonals like a pair of scissors. If you also enjoyed this move, then smash the like button right now. Okay, so White obviously can't take the queen, and on top of that, black is also threatening queen h1 mate. So Bukute went for the early auction bishop to f3, giving some breathing space for the king to escape. Tal moves in further, now threatening queen g1 check. White again tries to defend. Knight e3, interfering in between to stop the bishop from defending the queen. Tal is on the attack and wants to break open the position, so he plays f5, planning to tear apart the e5. If White takes the pawn, then bishop takes the knight and black is clearly winning. Bukute understands that Tal is going to apply pressure on this knight, so he plays knight to c4, adding two more defenders to this knight. X takes and Tal goes for bishop a6, pinning the knight and getting another piece into action. White pulls back his bishop, covering up the f5, and now just look at this board. This knight is pinned. This knight is also pinned because of queen g1 mate. This bishop is covering the king. This bishop and rook are defending the knight. Both the queen and rook don't know what to do. And look at black everyone is just attacking the king. This is just a dream position for black and especially for Tal. And if that were not enough, black doubles up his rooks, making the attack even stronger. Bishop d2, and then Tal brings the only piece that was left out. Knight takes on d5. See how smartly he's getting all his pieces into action. White obviously can't take with the knight because of this mate with the queen. Therefore, he captures with the bishop. It's a check, so rook x. Again, knight can't take, so king e2. He wants to run away. Tal won't allow that, so he picks up the knight. And after rook takes, he gobbles up the other knight as well. It's a check, and here's where white surrendered. Tal is already up 3 pawns, and if you're thinking of taking with the queen, then it's a post mate in 2, just like this. And see, for example, if he goes back to d1, then takes x, it's like check, and then queen f2, and white is completely handicapped. That can play bishop b3, and then there are just too many attacks against the white king. Therefore, in this position, Bukhuti desired